Okay, so now we have the other instance where we use the law of cosines. So this is, we're given three sides of the triangle, none of the angles. The only thing that we have that relates three sides and one angle is the law of cosines. Law of sines has two angles for any pair you pick. So they ask us for angle alpha and they give us A, B, and C. So that means we're going to use the cosine of alpha formula, so it's going to start with A squared. So A squared plus B squared, A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine our unknown alpha. All right, let's fill in the parts we know. We know over here, this is a 20 squared. Our B is 25. That has to be squared. Over here, it's not. And I forgot the 2. Then our C is 18 squared. No squared there. All right. Now, we're going to see here when I subtract 25 squared from 20 squared, we're going to end up with something negative. That's okay, because attached to the cosine here, the negative 2 times 25 times 18, that'll be a negative number. Normally, I wouldn't do this, but these are all going to be integers, so I'm actually going to do some of the number crunching. So over here, I will have 20 squared minus 25 squared minus 18 squared equals negative 2 times 25 times 18 times the cosine of alpha. All right, so the two things that are squared are being added. I can subtract them to the other side. Everything that's in my cosine unit is stuck with multiplication. I cannot add those or subtract those over. So let's see what we get on the left side. 20 squared minus 25 squared minus 8 minus 18 squared. This is negative 549. And then over here, 2 times 25 times 18, this will be negative 900 cosine alpha. All right. I know there's a negative in front of the 900. That is the sign of the number. That is not how the 900 is attached to the cosine. The 900 is smushed up against it, so that is multiplication. Some of you guys are like, why is she harping so much about this? Because you wouldn't believe how many people did it a different way. So I'm just trying to give you guys common mistakes to watch out for so you hopefully don't do them. All right, so I'm not going to actually figure out if this reduces at all besides just negative divided by negative is positive. So 549 over 900 equals the cosine of alpha. So to get alpha by itself, I have applied a cosine to it, so I need to unapply it, undo it. So we undo it using the inverse trig function on both sides. So alpha will equal. Now here, like so far, everything has been side measurements. So it is very easy at this point to accidentally have your calculator in radians. So just like double check you're in degrees. Inverse cosine of 549 divided by 900. So 52.5 0.410 degrees. Now, if this was in radians, we would get like 0.893 or something radians. But when the angle gets bigger than whatever the 1 radian is, like 63, 66 degrees, somewhere in there, like then you get 1 point something, and your brain may not realize like 1 point something is a little too small, probably. All right, so we have answered the question that was posed. We have found alpha. So the big thing is pay attention to how this is attached to the cosine. I mean, alternatively, we could just solve the formula for the cosine of alpha and you could see where all the pieces go. Which it would be only doing it because I mentioned it. A squared minus b squared minus c squared divided by negative 2bc. So that is what the cosine of alpha equals. So you could crunch all the numbers, then do inverse cosine of that result. That'll give you alpha. But you do want to be comfortable manipulating the variables like this. There's a lot of chemistry and physics formulas that if you understand how to manipulate the formula, you don't have to memorize stuff. A lot of the stuff in chemistry, like the pH scale, like most chemistry books presented as 2 formulas, one is the inverse of the other. If you understand how to manipulate the stuff around in the equation, you don't need to know both formulas. Physics, like a huge chunk of physics is just applied calculus. If you understand calculus, you get to memorize like 1/5 of the formulas for if you don't know it. All right. I'll be back for the next